Hello and welcome to Smoke Mares Gaming and Car Talk. And today we're going to be looking at anti-tank for the Battle Sisters again. Now in my last video we looked at Morven Val and the Paragon warsuits hitting the Chaos Knight Despoiler. And it looks like pretty much they would make, with average rolling, it should make mincemeat of it. The thing is, that's quite a lot of points to invest. We're talking 210 for the Paragons, another 106 for Morven Val. If you're playing a 1,000-point game, you might not want to spend that much on one big unit. So, do we have any alternatives? One thing which I have heard talked about is how good Repentia are. And it occurred to me that putting them in a Penitent Host with a Palatine for the lethal hits, and then using the Vow of Absolution, should actually provide a huge damage output if you can get that charge in. So I've done the maths. Here's the target of the charge, the Chaos Knight Despoiler. Toughness 12, 22 wounds, 3+ save with a 5+ invulnerable. They're the only important stats. Obviously, ideally you'd want to bait an Overwatch with some other sort of unit before you did this, so that you couldn't be Overwatch, because that's only once per phase or turn or whatever. But if you could get that charge in, things could go reasonably well with some lucky rolling. These are your Battle Sisters, which again, they look fairly inoffensive, and if you breathe on them they'll die. They're an incredibly weak unit in terms of defensive stats. We're talking toughness 3, 1 wound for most of them. The Palatine's got 4 wounds and a 4+ invul, and the rest have got 6+ invuls. The weapons wise, again, things are looking fairly inoffensive. Plasma pistol on supercharged for 2 damage possibly. Bolt pistol for the Repentia superior. Neural whips aren't going to do a lot. 2 attacks each for the Penitent Eviscerator, and you've got 2 of them. We're now giving them sustained hits and lethal hits. So if you roll a 6, you're going to get 1 lethal hit. So that's 1 through that can't be, that you'd have to roll to wound for, but they do have to roll to save for. Then the sustained will give you an additional hit, which you do have to roll to wound for. So potentially, they're going to get 2 hits out of that. One of which you have to roll for, both of which can be saved. That would be devastating wounds, which they don't have. But 9 of them's going to give you 18 attacks. So that's potentially pretty good. But when you factor in some of the other stuff that's going on, it gets even better. This is the simulated roll that we've got going on. And if we look at the chart here, we can see, okay, so your plasma pistol and your bolt pistol, perfect rolling, you're going to get a 2 and a 1 wounds out of it. Not amazing. Perfect luck on the Palatine blade and neural whips, you're talking 8 and then 4. Perfect luck on the Penitent Eviscerator is 36. Why is this? If you rolled perfectly and you rolled 8, you'd roll 18 attacks. The 6s are going to give you 18 lethal hits. You're going to then get 18 sustained hits. If they then fail, if you then succeed all your wound rolls and they fail all that, you end up with a massive 36 hits out of that. Obviously, it's only wounding on a 6, but we've got to remember that as long as the Repentia superiors with them, they're going to get use of that ability that she gives them to reroll hits and reroll wounds. So even though they're hitting on 4s and they're wounding on 6s, they're going to get a lot of rerolls. And we're looking at, really the key one is the Penitent Eviscerator. So 18 attacks, hitting on 4s, averaging 9 hits, averaging 3 sustained hits. The rerolls potentially giving you another 4.5 hits out of that, and then potentially another sustained hit out of the rerolls. So you're talking then eventually 20 hits. Each one's actually doing 2 damage. You've got 3 of those potentially going to be lethal hits at least. So these you don't need to roll for. The saves, the AP -2, so you're going to be saving on 5s. Yes, you're going to lose a lot of those 20 to the wound roll with a 6+, giving you with 3.46 successful wound rolls. Another 2.8 for the re-rolls on your wound rolls, giving you 6.3, and then you've got your lethal hits as well. So you're ending up with 16.7 hits just for the Penitent Eviscerators, and the additional ones that take you up to a total of 1879 are from the other little weapons there. Now, the key thing is, if you choose the Penitent Host Detachment, then you can choose a vow for each battle turn. And if you're planning to do this and get the most out of your Repentia in a kind of glorious charge of death, then you could use the Vow of Absolution. So what that does is it gives all the troops in the unit a additional 1 attack, an additional 1 strength. Doesn't make a lot of difference to the Palatine's blade or the neural whips. You're going up to a potential of 4.3 damage, 1.6 damage. But the Repentia, it becomes quite insane because you're now doing 27 hits, of which you're potentially going to get 13.5. 14.59 of those are going to be sustained hits. You've then got re-rolls for 6.7. You've got sustained hits from your re-rolls of 1. Then you've got a total hits of 30. You've got 4.5 lethal hits on average. And then from your re-roll, you've got another lethal hit probably. Because you've now increased the strength of the weapon to 7 and the toughness of the knight is 12, you're going to be winning on a 5 instead of a 6. So you're now looking at 10 successful wound rolls, another 3.5 potential average luck re-rolls from the Overseer ability of the Repentia Superior, giving you a total wound score rolls of 13.6. Still 5.4 save, but it's -2 AP, so it's likely to save 4.5. They're 2 damage each, so we're now looking at just the Penitent Eviscerators could potentially do around 32 wound with average rolling. And if you can get a few more off the other weapons, then great. Brilliant. 34.32 wounds with average rolling, you should be able to take it down. Unless they're very lucky or you're very unlucky, the Palatine with the Repentia in a Penitent Host squad. And again, you've got to make sure nobody shoots them because they will just die. But if you can avoid that and you can get that charge in, you've got a very good chance of taking down a pretty expensive, pretty meaty piece of tank hardware. Anyway, that's the conclusion. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting. If there's any other particular unit you'd like to see the maths done for, drop me a comment and I'll have a look at it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.